Welcome back to the Form is Temporary podcast. Yes, we are back from our week's break after last week. Had a week off, but we're back again to look ahead to Gameweek 9, and it's going to be a great one. We're going to pick through how we did in the last week, and to talk through the game week with me, we've got Jack and Chris back in. So, firstly, Jack, how are you, my friend?
I'm brilliant. You can't see my screen, but it does say Quiz Pig is back right now. So you're going to expect that today. And it's been a horrible few weeks off. I've been crying every week that I've not been available, obviously. So,
well, we're back again for more fun. And Chris is also back with us. How are you, Chris?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's good to be back. I mean, I think we're speaking off air. I mean, a bit of squad rotation going on in the T-Fit pod team. Shout out to Kanji. I mean, I've been absolutely loving listening to the pods, and he's been an absolutely great addition to the team. But yeah, it's about time me and Jack pulled our weight a bit, and yeah, we're back. So looking forward to this one.
Kanji's been in giving all of his, intelligent takes, and now you've got me back on talking about fucking Chris Wood again.
Well, there's a place for that, Jack. There's people out there that want that sort of stuff, so it's all good. But no, to preview Gameweek 9, we're delighted to say we've also got on a great guest in the FPL community. He has these brilliant content videos where he produces content based on probabilities sometimes, and what he uses of the card and trusting his algorithms in that way. But he's also a really, really nice guy and part of the FPL podcast. So it is a pleasure to say, Darius, welcome to the Form is Temporary podcast. How are you, FPL D-Unit?
Roberto, it's great to be here, and thanks for having us on. It's been good, and I've timed my run perfectly, my best scoring week of the year, and good time to hop on another show, I suppose, which is always nice.
Absolutely, yeah, very well timed, and we'll pick through the bones of how well you did there, as well as look at the rest of our Game Week 8 sides and what we did going into that week after missing out last week. Game Week 7 obviously was recently just past the recent points, so we'll look back at that as well. But we are going to dive into looking mainly at Game Week 9 this episode, because we've got another deadline to look ahead to. So we've got some potential transfers we might be making in that department. We also have our differentials, our players under 10% owned, which we'll kind of give out as little nuggets of gold to our listeners, see if we can get some inspiration there. We also got our quiz at the end of the episode, which will be good fun. Jack's prepared that this week, so looking forward to that. And of course, we will look at what the mini league's been saying recently and how that's looking in the Form is Temporary league. So without further ado, we're going to jump into our Game Week 8 teams. And we'll first of all look at how Jack's team has got on recently. So Jack, what are you saying about this? I mean, Game Week 7, you scored a lovely 97 points after bringing in a couple of players with, to be fair, good credentials. Semenyo and Haaland doing the trick for you in that week.
Honest, I was doing really bad before that week. I was bottom of every single one of my smaller mini leagues. Anyway, there was obviously people doing worse in the bigger leagues, but yeah, bringing in Haaland. I mean, Isak's been really not great for me, but I thought just to get rid of Salah because he frees up so much more money. Yeah, Semenyo and Haaland was the two most obvious picks, but as proven here, it works sometimes. The most obvious picks are sometimes the best players, and Semenyo is just on fire as well.
Some really interesting picks in here, Darius. I mean, Dan Burn being one of them. He came up trumps big time in Game Week 7 with an 11-pointer, and then Newcastle did concede against Brighton last time out, his former club, of course. But yeah, I don't see many, Dan Burns in people's teams. Do you think that's a nice pick going forward?
Well, I bought him in as well, so I think it's a great pick. I was on a flight to Bali when this game was going on, and I landed and I saw the Newcastle clean sheet, and I was like, fantastic! That's Pope and Dan Burn coming in. And then I looked at the assist. I was like, damn, Burn assist. I was like, get in. And then obviously that equated to a couple of bonus points. So I think the Brighton game was always going to be tricky. But I think Newcastle definitely better. They've actually got a really weird record against each other since they've been promoted. They quite often both teams score in those games, and it happened to be the case again. And I think he'll be great moving forward. Dan Burn, I think, should be a lock for a clean sheet this week. Fulham looked pretty crap.
Yeah, definitely. That's really interesting. And game week 8, Jack, you made just the one change for your team, and it was Mark Gay in for Ola Aina, and didn't quite go to plan in that Palace game because it was quite the thriller. But he picked up an assist.
Yeah.
So I mean, thoughts on that? Because I guess Palace, that they've been so strong this season, but you know the goal fest that Bournemouth game was you know, not one for defenders, was it really?
Yeah, it wasn't great for me, but my thinking behind, you know, there's some of our guests that love DEFCON so much that I am like, maybe not going for those type of players too much. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to go for teams that look solid overall as a unit at the back. So Palace look pretty good. They don't look the best in the league, but Newcastle are probably top 3-4 teams in the league for defensive, you know, points. And with nothing in attack, basically, apart from Voltemada, I think if I'm going to have a Newcastle player, I'd pick Burn. I'm thinking more Palace players in the future. So Gahey was my way in because Aina was out. And I'm thinking, you know, with Mateta's form, he's probably going to be my next pick. So just want to get some Palace players in there whilst they're on this hot streak.
Yeah, it feels like it makes sense, doesn't it, Chris, to sort of capitalise on it while the iron's hot. But one iron that's not been hot recently is Liverpool, you know, losing 4 games in a row. And Jack's Jack's got Gakpo and Isak in there. I mean, do you think Liverpool players, Chris, are starting to be, you know, sellable? Because the form has been quite worrying recently.
Form is temporary.
That's true. That is true.
Exactly. I think, I mean, to be fair, Gakpo has been really good in the last couple of weeks. Like, he's been the only one, and especially in that Man United game, he could have had 2 or 3 goals really on another day. So I think he's the only one who's really been performing. Isak was really quiet against United. I know he had that one-on-one chance where he kind of fluffed his lines, but yeah, I think at the moment a double up's maybe a little bit too much. I don't mind Gakpo as a pick because I think he's pretty much a nailed-on starter. There's not really any options on the left, is there, apart from Ngamoa, who's probably not going to play in the Premier League. So yeah, I think Isak might be one who I don't know, Jack, if he's on the chopping block for you, but it feels like there might be better options elsewhere, especially as you said with like Voltemada, even Mateta after his hat trick. I know me and Roberto also brought in Bowen this week, so I think there are options in there who might be more effective.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think my team has to change in the next few weeks. I'm still working back from having sort of a dreadful game week, like 4 to 6. Like those 3 weeks were horrendous for me, I think. So the past 2 weeks have been good, but I'd like to get rid of one of my Tottenham players because tripling up's a bit too much, I think. Maybe for a Mateta, like you say, or Voltemada. And then Isak's one where it's like, you know, he's going to, if he's still starting over Ekitike, I might keep him just for now. But if I do need to go down to a Mateta who is rising in price, Isak's probably the chopping block. And the only other transfer I'm thinking of at the minute is getting Sells out because Forest are dreadful. So
yeah, absolutely. I
but
mean,
with John Dyche back in charge,
clean sheet central. My bad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, with
they just
Sean
swung
Matthews,
from one extreme to the other, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's weird. They've done a lot of weird appointments there, but hopefully Dyche, you know, with the way that Forest were last season, defensively solid, that hopefully kind of matches up because a lot of his sort of stats have been very similar to when Nuno was at Forest. So yeah, maybe that will be a good appointment. But for the audio, 66 from Jack there, 9 from Dubravka. That was the big, you know, return for those that went with him. Burn with 2, Porro with 1, Cucurella with 8. Chelsea, you know, keeping it tight a little bit recently with that Forest game. Gay with a 4, Semenyo with 4, Gakpo with 7, Kudus 2, Isak 2, Haaland on the captaincy 26, Richarlison 1, and then Sells 2, Dewsbury Hall 2, Grealish and Reynaldo with a fat 0. So I mean, it's interesting that Semenyo
play. By the way, he couldn't play. So
yeah. That's true. That is true. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that Semenyo point, Darius, is quite interesting because that Palace game, there was a lot of people complaining with Semenyo's lack of assists, with the sort of changes to the assist rules this season. What were your thoughts on that moment in that game?
I've watched the first one, and that was the first one that wasn't given, or the second one that wasn't given.
I believe it was the second. Yeah.
Oh, I actually thought it was the first one that wasn't given. Because I was going to say the first one, he hit it from outside the box, and I just assumed that it wasn't going to count because of the fact that the way they interpreted the way they worded it. I'm surprised that the second one wasn't given. I had no problems with the first one not going because I thought it made sense with the change in the rules. So, I mean, I had him down for 1 assist, so I've got no complaints, and I own him. Yeah, I find it weird that everyone seems to think he should have got 2 based off what I watched. But yeah, I thought it was pretty clear cut. But yeah,
I'm happy with 1.
Yeah,
same.
We'll take 1 and run with it. Absolutely.
After the week before.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, he's just been so good all season, really. So yeah, it's very well done for that week from you, Jack. Chris's team scored 1 point less than that on a chip with 65. Bench boost was played. Really interesting team, this one, because a few different options and an interesting captaincy choice. So we'll just run through it for the audio. So Rye with 6, Gabriel 12, coming up trumps there. True Fair with 1, Joof, who was benched, with 1, Fernandez 8, Salah 2, Kudus 2, Njai 4, Pedro 2, Gyökeres 2, and captaincy on Bowen with 4. And then the bench boost with Dubravka worked with 9, Damsgaard 3, Rodon 1, and then Esteve 8. So the Burnley side of the bench boost, Chris, was nice, but were you overall pleased with your use of the chip?
It's a tricky one because I think overall, as obviously Jack's got a higher score than me, and I think overall it probably wasn't as effective as I'd hoped. But to get, I think, 18 points there on, was 18? Just under 20 points on the bench boost. It's not too bad. I mean, I was always going to target a Burnley fixture because I had Dubravka and Esteve. Initially, to be honest, I was going to do it in game week 2, but I just forgot to use the chip then. So, I was quite grateful that they managed to keep a clean sheet. Although the underlying data suggests they were probably quite fortunate. I think Leeds dominated that game and somehow they didn't score. But yeah, to get the bonus points as well for Dubravka and the DEFCON points for Esteve was nice. But elsewhere, it was a bit disappointing, really. I mean, the Arsenal defence is still just... it's just so efficient for points. So yeah, that was really nice. Obviously, Gabriel popping up with another attacking contribution is always good, especially with people who own Timber in comparison, getting that little bit of an edge over them. But yeah, elsewhere it wasn't the best. I mean, Bowen obviously on the captaincy. I really felt good about bringing him in this week. I think obviously West Ham haven't been great, but when Bowen is their talisman and when he scores or contributes, he usually tends to get the full bonus points. So I thought this might be a week without Haaland to try and capitalise on that and make up some ground on owners of Haaland. But obviously it didn't work out. But I'm trying to see it as a block of 4 games really, because obviously Burnley and Leeds as well in the next 3. So if he returned in, say, 2 out of the next 3, I think I'd be happy with that, because I'm looking to wildcard probably after the next international break. So it's kind of this block of 4 that I was hoping Bowen can be a good option.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, Chris. I mean, yeah, looking at it in that sort of short-term sort of blocks of weeks is good, because then we can kind of have goals to kind of achieve in certain periods, and then we can sort of switch our transfers accordingly. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, Darius, was one that sort of a lot of people got rid of in the last couple of weeks, and he has been quite frustrating for a lot of owners. But as a Man United fan, coming up clutch with that assist right at the end for Maguire, it's interesting. He's always got that in his locker, hasn't he, Bruno?
Well, yeah, I think that it's obviously a big Man United fan, so I've watched every game religiously, and I feel like, and I've owned Bruno the entire season, and he's been so close to so many points, and then somehow contrived to either not get them, finish on 11 DCs instead of 12, miss 2 penalties, had people miss chances. Like he could have literally have hauled in every single game this season if some luck had gone another way. And I mean, even in the first half, he hits the post, kisses the post off a great cutback from Ahmad. And I was like, oh, it's going to be another one of them days. And he was sitting there on 8 DCs and I saw him getting beat. I was like going, but it was funny because I was doing a live watch along of the game and I was like going, Bruno Fernandes is going to hit Harry Maguire's head off a corner. It wasn't quite off the corner, but I literally called it 10 seconds before it happened. And then it was just pandemonium. And then Slabhead went and celebrated in front of the cop. It was brilliant.
Mate, I said the same thing. He was running towards the box, and I was sat with my dad, who's a United fan, and I was like, well, there's your goal scorer then. And then he went absolutely mental, and he was like hugging me as if I...
crazy. I was the same with my dad. I was like, Maguire is going to score it.
Everyone knew.
What a player. What?
Yeah.
He's just inevitable, isn't he?
You just saw that head and you're like going, he's going to just monster him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no defender can deal with that. It's just so inevitable and threatening. And yeah, it was a really impressive performance by Man United because that's the sort of thing that's been missing with them a little bit, the consistency. But 2 wins in a row now under Amorim. So
first time.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like maybe this is the start of the revival under Amorim. I'm not sure, but it's a lot of United fans are still, I think, being cautiously optimistic rather than getting too carried away because there's a few interesting games coming up for them: Forest, Brighton, Spurs as well. So yeah, really interesting. Well, that's a solid little team you got there, Chris, and you made quite a few transfers as well with Trufer and Rodon, your other two. What was the thinking behind those two?
Well, Rodon was simply for the bench boost. It's annoying because it was probably between him and Mukiele, and obviously Mukiele hauled and scored and got the clean sheet. So that was a bit of an annoying swing. I was thinking that the Burnley Leeds game would have very few goals in, so I think that was the main kind of attraction to go for Rodon. Obviously, it didn't pay off. Trufer was mainly to kind of negate the fact that obviously I don't have Senesi and Bournemouth's defence has been really good so far this season. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to Senesi. I couldn't afford him. So as a different Bournemouth option, I thought Trufer might be good. I think he got an assist in the previous game against Brighton and he has looked quite threatening going forward. Obviously, he doesn't have the same reliability for DEFCON points as Senesi, but I thought to kind of, again, negate the points that owners have been getting from Bournemouth, from Senesi, sorry. Having a Bournemouth defender would be useful. I really want a Newcastle defender, but the only one I really feel sold on is Dan Burn. I still think Botman and Malik Chow are very kind of vulnerable to being rotated, especially when Champions League games. I think there's one this midweek, isn't there? So it's a tricky one with the Newcastle defence because I'd like to get one, but it's not an easy kind of route into their defence.
Yeah, it's working out which one the best one looks to be. Yeah, well, that absolutely makes sense. And I think Newcastle could be definitely a team we invest in soon with their recent sort of goal scoring prowess. And then, I mean, Darius, the card calls trump all. And you certainly did trump us all this week with your score. A big 75 points, also on the bench boost. It wasn't so much... like Chris
wasn't the bench that got me the points.
You were saved by the players not on the bench in the end, but for 75 is still a very, very nice score. For the audio, it was Pope in goal with 2, Burn with 2, Chalobah, my boy, earlier on in the season with 6, Mukiele with 17, who did very well for Sunderland in that game for them. Foden 6. I mean, Foden was a big call, and fair play to having the strength of character to do that one. Fernandes with 8 and Bumo 9. I mean, the Man United double up. Who'd have thought it away to Liverpool? But fair play for that one. Semenyo,
Liverpool players.
Yeah, no Liverpool. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin 2, Bowen 2, Haaland 13, and then And then the bench, Petrovic with 2, Reinders 1, Senesi 2, and then Krejci with an own goal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that
90-odd minute own goal.
Oh yeah, gutting, right?
Rough.
Absolutely gutting. But yeah, really nice team. I mean, if it wasn't for Mukiele, I think this would have been maybe a very different score, Darius. But outside of him, what are you sort of pleased with in this team?
Well, it was really interesting because at the start of the week, I actually had Bruno Fernandes and Bumo. Mukiele. No, sorry. I had Senesi and Bumo. No, I had the Pigeon because the Pigeon became Dominic Calvert-Lewin because I was concerned he was going to get benched, and he did get benched. It just turned out Dominic Calvert-Lewin just missed his chance as usual. But it was a punt I was happy to take because it was cheap, and I was like, stuff it. At least I know he's going to play. So it was a weird one because originally I had Mbumo, Pigeon, and Fernandes on the bench. And if I left it that way, the bench boost would have looked really good. But instead, I was like going, I'll just put them on field. And I'll put those guys on the bench because people then say I won't be able to say I cheated on the bench boost or whatever. And Mukiele at some point was on the bench this week as well. But originally when I wildcarded in 6, I'd looked at the bench boost in this week. And that was why I bought Mukiele and Krejci. And I was like, realistically, that game I'm hoping is a 0-0 game. And in reality, between Krejci and Mukiele, they got exactly what I was hoping for. 16 points combined is pretty nice for two defenders that normally are on the bench every single week. It's just annoying that Krejci obviously scored that really late on goal because then they would have combined for 20 points rather than 16, and I would have felt a little bit better. The Foden, it's so frustrating. Foden against Burnley as captain has Esteve rob him of a goal. Like literally robs him. As soon as he's about to kick it, Esteve just nicked it in front of him. Then against Brentford, he doubles Haaland's XGI, has 4 chances in the first half and somehow doesn't score. And then in this game, he creates both goals. He gets the 2 assists of the assists. And then the 2 times he plays Haaland through and Foden racked up 0.54 expected assists. Haaland misses both chances. I was like, you can't account for that. That's just unlucky. But I feel like in another season or another couple of game weeks, it's going to be the other way around and Foden's going to be the one returning. And I'm like, then I'll have Haaland captain and he'll blank. And I'm like, well, that sucks. But yeah. Other than that, when I wildcarded in 6, I was like, the team's pretty good. I don't even have to make a transfer this week. Dominic Calvert-Lewin goes to the bench. Krejci comes on for his redemption arc against Burnley at home. And we roll.
Yeah.
And I'll have 5 free transfers the week after, which will be quite nice.
That's really interesting. I mean, the Foden sort of unluckiness there with the captaincy is unfortunate. But if it was, you, Jack, would you just keep it simple? And, people are trying to sometimes go against Haaland, but it does seem this season that, sticking with him does sort of seem to be bearing fruits this season.
Well, luckily, I did see a stat before this week. I was looking for captaincy stuff, and I was like, well, most likely it's going to be Haaland. And then it was like he's got like 70% of their goal involvements this season. So it's just like they haven't been like they've been creating for him, but some other people need to get on the score sheet. And I was like, I'm not going to bring in any of the other players at the moment because it's just so clear that Haaland's the only one that's even looking like scoring at the minute. He's the only one that scored more than 1 goal. So I mean, Foden has been playing well when you watch the games with the eye test, but yeah, for now, I'm just going to keep it on Haaland, to be honest.
Because you want man of the match in this game as well. Like Phil Foden got interviewed at the end of the game. It wasn't Haaland because Foden actually, as I said, without him, they don't get either of those goals.
I can't see how many points he had.
What was that?
Did he get bonus points, Foden?
No, because O'Reilly got an assist and he was a clean sheet, didn't he? So
it was a beautiful pass as well into O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That pass he played. So it's like he's one of those players. Like I feel like he's going to be a bit of like the assist of the assist because he seems to be playing like as a kind of left centre mid almost now. He's not playing on the wing as he was previously under Guardiola. He's slightly deeper and he's still a fantastic player. And as you say, Darius, against Brentford, he really should have scored a couple in that first half. So there is a lot of kind of variance and unluckiness really with that Haaland's kind of got the points, whereas Foden like you say, he looks really good on the eye. So I quite like it. I quite like him as a pick. I'm not sure as a captain, but as a pick, I don't think he's bad
Yeah,
at all.
I do like him as a pick.
He's losing the captaincy this week. I bet you he outscores Haaland this week now that I changed it. Just in spite.
Yeah, you know it happens. It's the way FPL works. But yeah, not too great of a week for me in the end. Just above the average, but 63 points in my side. I made a couple of transfers because I had free transfers going into this, so I thought I'd roll over one to save for game week 9. But I brought in Rice and Bowen because I was getting a little bit fed up of Fernandez, and I thought, well.
Oh.
I wanted to start Minter because I quite liked him in that Newcastle game. So I ended up thinking, oh, Rice is there, for the long term. I can bench him this week. Probably doesn't do anything against Fulham. So that was what I ended up doing. But I also then replaced Bowen. Bowen came in for João Pedro, and they both ended up blanking. So kind of nothing going there. And then Fernandez got the assist as my Rice, player I let go. So yeah, it wasn't the best when it came to the effectiveness of the transfers, but I think, as you said earlier, Chris, Bowen is a more of a long-term investment, and I think Rice there for his set piece duty looks like someone who might be worth owning. I mean, when you look at that team, Chris, do you think that maybe I should have gone a bit different with the replacement for Fernandez, or do you think Rice was? I know he's someone that's been a big sort of he's someone who you've really sort of been interested in earlier in previous seasons. So do you think he's someone you'd still have faith in?
I like him as a pick. I think in terms of Arsenal midfielders, probably the standout is obviously Saka, but getting to him is difficult. I think I'm not sure. It's not the easiest player to get to. So Rice is a kind of differential. I really like, as you say, he's on set pieces, and we know obviously how good Arsenal are from set pieces. So I think there's always a good chance he can get returns. And I think obviously with Ødegaard out as well now, I think there is kind of more likelihood that he is going to start. I mean, he usually does start most games, but with Eze and Ødegaard in the games against smaller sides, sometimes they could play together, for example, and maybe Zubimendi as the defensive midfielder. I think there was a game, I can't remember where he was on the bench a couple of weeks ago, but I think for now, while Ødegaard's out and it looks like Eze is kind of going to be in that position, Rice is pretty nailed on to start in that left centre mid role, and I think anyway he probably is most weeks, but I really like him. And obviously, like you say, I picked him loads as a differential last year for the same reasons, because of his kind of threat from set pieces and even his goal threat as well in open play. So yeah, I really like him as a pick. I think he could do well for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how the week that I sort of made a few changes, I scored less. The week prior, game week 7, I got a nice 85 after not making a transfer. And it's interesting because a lot of these players, from week to week, you think look great going into the next week and then do nothing. So Gvardiol was one that I was really pleased with in game week 7 and then didn't play in game week 8. And so Gudmundsson ended up subbing in for him for 1 point. So yeah, it's frustrating. Like the Spurs players as well. Spurs are just very inconsistent at the moment in terms of they'll play well in certain games and not get points, or in games that they won't play well in, they'll get points. And yeah, they didn't look their best against Aston Villa, and Kudu's blanked there. So yeah, frustrating one really. I mean, Dubravka was the one I was pleased with 9. I was happy I chose him over Pope. I think when I had Minter in the team, I was always going to sort of back that angle of it. But yeah, it wasn't ideal with Gvardiol, but Senesi as well with 2, Gabriel with 12. Reinders with 1. I'm starting to lose my patience on Reinders because he feels like a little bit Darius. He was a bit of a game week 1 sort of troll, a 1 week wonder where everyone sort of looked at him and thought, yeah, he's got to be an own, and everyone justified his blanks with, but he's his price, it's a no-brainer, but he's not exactly delivering, is he, at this point as an FPL asset?
And when you get a -6 sub before the 60th minute, that's the ultimate frustration, especially when I was like the 59th minute and you're like, oh, come on, mate, walk off a bit slower. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think, but I think what we've already seen, particularly post the international break and even towards the back end of like game week 7 and 6, is the teams in Europe, yes, they've got really good players and sometimes they have really good fixtures, but there is a lot of rotation going on. There's a lot of managed minutes. And that was kind of the reason why I wanted to keep the double United attack, because they're not getting rotated. They don't need to be rested for anything. And I think between now and the next international break, like literally all these teams play every single midweek. So at some point, they're either going to not play at all, or they're going to get an injury, or they're going to be being subbed before the 60th minute. And I think that's something that I think is going to have to come into our line of thinking probably moving forward.
Yeah, that is a concern with minutes. And I guess we always try to pick these players that, you know, not necessarily the most sort of exciting picks, Jack, but they sometimes you just know what you're going to get from them. But then it's always easy to sort of start thinking, oh, I want to take this game on a little bit and bring in players that kind of go against the grain. So do you think like players like Minter, who, you know, sometimes can be a bit exciting to watch, but then the end product isn't there? Do you think we should be changing our teams to just maybe penalty takers and nailed on minutes players?
Well, as someone who, as you know, loves to do the differential with infamous Chris Wood and DRB triple captains, right, in the past couple of seasons. Yeah, I like the differential, but I'm kind of getting swung recently to just going with the grain. Just like since I've been doing that, I've been doing well. So, you know, before that, I was doing shit every week, and even if I had the good players. So I kind of think going with template is pretty decent, but the template is changing every week, so you can't really tell what's going on. Like there's been Newcastle defenders in the last couple of weeks, and then there's been Semenyo who's been nailed on. Now people are questioning him because he only got 1 assist. Oh no! But you know, I think having a base of just going with the grain is good, and I think maybe 1 or 2. Like everyone always says, 1 or 2, and even if it's one of your bench players that you can sub on for Bowen when he's got a hard team, whatever.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. I mean, the fixtures looking ahead now to game week 9 are interesting because we've got a Friday night kickoff with Leeds against West Ham. Chelsea Sunderland is going to be an interesting pick for you know, anyone that's got those Sunderland players from their bench boost. Might be a trickier game for that option. Newcastle Fulham, Man United Brighton, who, you know, Brighton tend to have Man United's number in the previous season.
Bogey team.
Yeah, it might be different this season. Brentford, Liverpool, Arsenal, Palace, Villa City, Bournemouth, Forest. So, you know, we'll see if you know, Sean Dyche has the desired impact away to Bournemouth there. Wolves, Burnley, and then Everton, Spurs to round off Sunday. So, I mean, when you're looking at those fixtures, Darius, are there any sort of teams standing out to you that you think, you know, we should sort of target with those games in mind?
Well, I'm kind of hoping that Krejci comes in this week after his own goal on the bench boost last week, because I originally got him for last week and this week, and then I was going to bring in the Arsenal defenders in game week 10 after they'd played Fulham and Palace, because Fulham's normally a tricky game for Arsenal, and so is, I think Palace with the form they're in will probably score as well. And I wouldn't want to go near Palace assets this week either for the exact same reason. So that was my plan. Roll the transfers, game week 10, bring in Palace and Arsenal assets if they look good, because obviously the fixtures in game week 10 onwards are good. But this is one of them weird weeks where you sit there and you immediately go, oh, Chelsea Sunderland, that's the game I want to go to. But I mean, Sunderland are not a pushover team.
I want the Sunderland assets for that game.
Yeah, like they're a good, they're a much better team than we're used to being promoted, like significantly better.
Yeah, anyway. They have been very solid. I mean, the signing of Robin Rolls is also, you know, Roos has really sort of got them
great goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's got them getting a lot of clean sheets and he's made a lot of saves.
He's their player of the season already. Like even if they lose every game now, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
where'd they get him from?
It was a team in Netherlands. It's like NEC, like Something like that. I looked the other day.
Yeah. So no, it's been a really good finder. I guess as well, we have to think about the teams, that we're targeting. In an ideal world, yes, that game for Wolves assets would be great. But based on their form this season, Chris, do you think we can really look at that fixture and we should just go for maybe teams that are less obvious that are struggling? You might target Wolves players because of Burnley, but maybe that will just be a damp game because both of them have been struggling.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's very difficult to justify bringing in any Wolves players. They've just been pretty shocking all season. And like you say, despite the fixture, I think we've kind of got to change our perception of the promoted teams as being kind of fixtures to target all the time. I think in some cases where there's a massive mismatch in the kind of quality, I think that's when you can maybe justify targeting those fixtures. But for me, that is not a fixture where you're thinking, oh, Wolves players should be brought in just because it's Burnley. I mean, Burnley have been competitive, as of Leeds, as of Sunderland. So, yeah, I think to be honest, this week it's a really difficult one. I find it difficult looking for differentials because there's not really a standout fixture. As Darius said, I think the Chelsea game, I don't think that's an easy game for Chelsea, even at home against a side who have been pretty good defensively. And Chelsea really against Forest, who have been a worse side than Sunderland this year. They were fortunate to win in the manner they did. Forest probably deserved more from the game. So, yeah, defensively, I don't think Chelsea look very good at all, to be honest. I think they've kind of been getting away with it the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's difficult. This week is not an easy one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how do you read into that Bournemouth game, Jack? Do you think, the fact that they've, had this unsettled nature behind behind the scenes makes going for them more attractive? Or do you think, maybe that new manager bounce might actually put you off maybe Bournemouth players?
I don't think it necessarily puts me off because I think the players are still going to be just as good, especially with, they've been well drilled for so long. How much can you really change it without actually making a difference? Like, the players that are playing well are still going to have that quality, but maybe I wouldn't bring anyone in until I wouldn't get rid there necessarily, but maybe I wouldn't bring anyone in until we definitely know for sure.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I have that dilemma this week, Roberto, because I think it might be finally time to bite the bullet and actually bring in Semenyo just to cover my back. But,
especially against Forest.
But his next 2 weeks are probably not that good.
There's always the worry about. Yeah. I mean, there's always the worry about new manager bounce with a new team. But I think Forest do have a midweek game, don't they, in the Europa League? So there's obviously a short turnaround, and I'd hope that he's going to have minimal preparation time for this Bournemouth game. So I do think that hopefully that new manager bounce isn't. You see the fruits of that in future weeks, and kind of Bournemouth can capitalise on them being a bit disorganised. And but I think in the future, I think like we were saying earlier with Jack owning Sells, I don't think Forest are a bad team to invest in defence. Maybe in a few weeks' time, not now, but as Dyche kind of implements his philosophy, I think players like Milenkovic and Murillo will soon be coming on managers' radars again. Maybe not now, but in the future.
Yeah, that definitely. I 100% agree with that. And I mean, when we look ahead to game week 9 in terms of differential picks from those fixtures, we'll go over to Darius first to see what he's got for us. So, players under 10% owned, Darius, that you're thinking might do well this week. What are you thinking?
Well, yeah, it's actually a pretty tough one to I sit there and I look at the Leeds and West Ham game, and after I watch the highlights from West Ham overnight, they conceded over 2 point something XGC. Like, Brentford should have won that game by more than 2 goals. And I was going to say originally, Juve's a really good pick, but no, he's not. I don't think he is. And he was obviously benched as well. Harry Maguire, can he back up another header against Brighton? He's very low owned. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. Brighton don't know how to keep a clean sheet either. So if there's ever a chance, I'd probably, in terms of defenders, I'd probably be looking there.
Harry Maguire. I mean, is it someone that's a little bit knee jerk Jack? Do you think we'd ever consider Maguire
of course.
at home to Brighton prior to that goal against Liverpool?
I think he played 90, right? And I mean, if you back Man United's defense, which I think personally, I think you just should belong in an asylum if you're backing Man United's defense. But if you think Man United are going to keep clean sheets, I think that's fine because he is genuinely one of the most clutch players Man United would have had in the last 5 years, and when they need a goal in the last minute, his ability to do that has been insane. But I think as an overall pick, I'd maybe prefer someone like if Dorgu starts to get loads of minutes, or maybe someone like Dallo. It depends on who's playing on the side, because they both love a cross, and the way that they're playing is so many crosses into the box into Sesko.
Well, the thing is, you look at the minutes there, Chris, of Maguire this season, and it has been very sketchy. Now, obviously, the goal against Liverpool will help that going forward, but it's interesting that they have options to use. So I guess Maguire is he absolutely nailed on? Do you think to get the starts?
I'd be surprised if he didn't start off the back of his performance against Liverpool, but I know what he's saying. I mean, they've got options there. Obviously, Yoro was on the bench, and I know Gary Neville was talking in commentary about kind of Yoro could have been playing in place of De Ligt, but it seems like Maguire kind of in that central role in the back three might be more secure. I don't know. I mean, Darius probably knows better. But yeah, I think for this week as a different role, I think I'd be surprised if he didn't start off the back of his performance.
Yeah, I do like it though. I do like it against Brighton. As you said, Darius, that they're struggling to keep clean sheets, and a lot of these teams. I just think a lot of the teams in the league this season have struggled from set pieces, and definitely that could be a route to some points for Harry Maguire there. Should we have one for you, Jack? Have you got one up your sleeve at the moment?
Yeah, I've got a few. I really like the Chelsea defense. I like Chalobah, James are both under 10%. Reece James on 5.4% now that he's back. He's played 90 in his last 3 or 4 games, I believe.
4 games, yeah.
Unheard of. So, yeah, I really like that. And obviously, coming off a massive points haul when he's got some really decent fixtures. Maybe not Tottenham and Sunderland's a bit iffy, but Wolves and Burnley, I think, if he's nailed on, I think Reece James is a really strong pick.
Yeah, I should have known as soon as Reece James scored an 18 pointer that you'd be all over that because
of course I really like players that are definitely.
He was in your Game Week 1 draft, wasn't he, Jack?
He was in my Game Week 1 draft.
Oh.
I actually did have another one. I liked Chalobah, but I was going to say Sesko. Obviously, the other end, maybe less insane than going for Harry Maguire. Obviously, he didn't start against Liverpool, but as it was mentioned by Amorim, that was a completely tactical decision. That was nothing to do with how he's been playing. So I think he still got half an hour, still made an impact. He was good in that game, and I think
he looked good. Yeah,
he will start going forward. I don't think the Liverpool game is anything to go off because it was purely tactical. And I think he has looked good.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at those fixtures long term, I mean, Forest have really been struggling. Spurs, you'd never quite.
Spurs Man United's going to be 5-5 realistically.
Yeah, that feels like that's got a game with goals in it.
Revenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's just whether or not he can keep up that consistency, isn't it, Chris? Because
it depends how Frank plays if he comes out with a low block.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. I mean, Everton and Palace there as well. Do you think Sesko is someone that can kind of get a run going, Chris? Or do you think he's a little bit sort of still, because he's still finding his feet in the league, it's still a bit early for him?
I think with those fixtures in mind, I think he's a good pick because I think the fact that Jack said, I think it was a tactical decision that he wasn't playing against Liverpool because Amorim wanted some more mobility up front. And with those fixtures, they're not really playing like a really high-profile side like an Arsenal or a City. So I think it is more likely that he will start these games. And also, I think, as Darius was saying earlier, a lot of the teams with good strikers are obviously playing midweek matches and there's going to be rotation in those forward areas. Whereas Man United, they're playing once a week. They're obviously out of the cup as well, aren't they? So I think
don't mention that.
Could actually be a nice little option. Not meant to be a dig. Not meant to be a dig. But,
not meant to be a dig, but you were crap against Grimsby.
We were awful.
Yeah. I actually quite like him as a pick. I've not, to be honest, I have to be honest, I've not seen much of him play apart from the Liverpool game. He had some nice little touches.
Yeah, well, the Liverpool, Man United are playing long ball stuff. So I think with him being 6'5", I think that means he's definitely got a chance of at least flicking something on or getting any odd assist here and there for the quicker players.
Yeah, I think he's actually quite an interesting option with all the kind of obviously congestion for the European sides. He could actually kind of go under the radar, a bit like what me and Roberto Bowen. Obviously, he's security of minutes, and he's only playing once a week, and he's the talisman. Like I think there is value in that, and not having those players who you're uncertain whether they're going to get minutes. So yeah, I quite like it as a pick.
Absolutely.
Thiago's another one.
Oh yeah, Igor
yeah,
Thiago.
well,
yeah, I was just putting him in my draft, to be honest. So
yeah, I mean his form has been really impressive for Brentford. I mean, he did well against Man United and followed it up with a goal against West Ham. So yeah, I mean, he's the thing about Brentford is, you know, from week to week it can be quite hard to sort of work out. You know, away from home, it seems that a lot of their games they've struggled in, but you know they won against West Ham, so that's sort of a positive. But they've got Liverpool, Palace, and Newcastle as their next three, which maybe the timing of that might be a bit trickier, but definitely one to keep in mind. As you said, with the striking options, there's a few of them that are starting to dwindle a little bit, like Isak and some other options there. So
I think Liverpool are letting goals in, and so are Brighton are fine. They're not exactly great defensively. Palace aren't looking top form defensively. I mean, they're looking good. They're looking like a great team, but the next two games, Liverpool are shaky. I think Brentford could get 1 or 2, even if they lose against Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, your differential for this week?
So I actually went for Igor Thiago as one of them for kind of the reasons that Jack alluded to. No, because I think Liverpool have been so shaky, and I think that physical number 9, especially in set piece situations, I think he could really cause some damage. I went for Cunha as another option, which is a risky one, but as the guys have alluded to, I think Man United have looked better going forward, and I think Brighton haven't kept a clean sheet yet this season. Cunha's a risk, however, because I think, as Jack said, with Sesko being kind of not playing for tactical reasons, I wonder whether his position is nailed, because I think Amorim seems to really love Mason Mount, which I can never understand. Never. But and then Mbeumo obviously is going to start every game. So I think there is a bit of competition there for him. But Cunha played so well against Liverpool. He's such
brilliant.
A good player to watch. So it's a bit of a risky one, but I think against the side Brighton, who have been, I think it's perhaps gone under the radar, they've been really poor defensively this season. They've not kept a clean sheet yet, and the underlying numbers don't look great at all for them. So I think United can score goals in this game. So and then I also had Pedro Neto as a bit of a Chelsea backed one, because I think again he's a player who I think slowly the media are starting to cotton on to his form, because he has been, over the last kind of 6 months, really, since the Club World Cup, has been probably Chelsea's best attacking player. And I think he's going to start against Sunderland. And I think if there's anyone who's going to make a difference in that game, he will be the one. So, he's my third differential.
Yeah, I like Pedro Neto a lot. I mean, 4.4% owned. He's actually a lot cheaper than I thought he would be, 7 million. So, if you need someone in that midfield to do a job, he's certainly, delivered with a goal and assist against Forest. And I mean, he's the thing about Neto is, he's always going to be involved, even if he doesn't come away with returns. He's very sort of unafraid to take shots and whip balls into the box. So I think that's a really good route into the Chelsea attack, because at the moment it's a little bit more sort of unclear, with João Pedro blanking and Palmer's fitness being a bit of a concern. So
I couldn't believe you'd gone against your boy Roberto. I never thought I'd see the day where João Pedro leaves Roberto's team.
He's lost faith.
as a former Watford player, I did think to myself, as soon as I bring you in, I'm just going to own you all season. But yeah, I think I just sort of thought, yeah, got to move on some point. And even though the fixtures are still quite good for Chelsea, yeah, it's not been clicking as much for Pedro recently. But you know, I'm sure he's due to come back into a bit of form.
He played well at the weekend.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. The thing is,
especially
he does play
after
well.
Guiu came on.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like these other options around him can make him better. My differential for this week, a lot of attention has gone on that Man United game, but
Brighton, you're going to say Welbeck.
Yeah, I'm going down the other side of the Manchester teams, and we did talk earlier about how it makes sense to go for Haaland and a lot of the other City assets. I'm not so sure about, but I think Doku for 7.4%. In every game I watch him, the minutes, was a concern against Everton and Brentford, but he plays so well, and he always, gives defenders something to think about. And
Not goals, though.
Yeah, I do think the Villa game, Villa have been in a bit of a recent run of form. They've kind of recovered a little bit, but I still back City to score a few there. And do you think Darius, that Doku is going to be a bit more secure in terms of his minutes this weekend?
Well, Marmoush is almost back, and I think that is probably the position that he's going to be vying for along with Doku. So depending on what happens in the Champions League and what team goes out there, will probably give you a better read on what might happen on the weekend. That's the only problem with City and Pep, is that you always know at the back of your mind, there's every chance that he's just going to cop a random benching. And he could have scored like 3 games in a row, and then all of a sudden Pep goes, "Nah, you're having a game off," and then you're out of the team, and he doesn't even bring you off the bench. So I don't know. That's the only reason why I kind of like Foden, because Foden's literally played 90 minutes every single week, almost since he's been back fit and available, which is unusual because Pep normally likes rotating him as well. But I think the way that he's deploying him makes him a better pick. The other one obviously is on the right as well. Like you got Savinio, you got Cherky. Like, where are they all playing?
Yeah, it is a bit of a minefield, but sometimes when you go for some of these players, they're sort of high risk, high reward, and it could well be this weekend. See what the card is saying on Man City players, maybe, but we'll see if Doku is the one. The other one I did have a little look at, and I do think they are a team that is still going under the radar and performing quite well. If you're looking at the fixtures this week, I mean, Tottenham have been conceding goals. James Garner,
he's a great pick.
He's really surprised me this season. I really like how he's playing, and he was never really in our thoughts earlier in the season, but he's only 5 million, and I think if you want to save a bit of money and get an upgrade somewhere else, home to Tottenham, away to Sunderland, home to Fulham, I think it's a nice run of fixtures. And he's on a lot of the set pieces as well, so you could get routes to points there. So do you like the look of Garner, Chris? Do you think he's one we should be considering?
I don't. What's his DEFCON numbers like? Does he get DEFCON points?
High.
It's pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, he got 13 against Man City, 18 against Liverpool, and 16 against Brighton. So he's been pretty consistent for that metric.
Yeah. Based off those numbers, I think he could be good. I mean, obviously there was a lot of kind of hype around Dewsbury Hall as well, who's at a similar price point for Everton, who takes set pieces as well. So it might be a bit of a toss of a coin between those two. I know Dewsbury Hall tends to play a bit further forward when he does, but I don't mind it. I think based off those numbers, I've never really considered him as a pick. But as you say, if he's kind of generating that number of defensive contributions on a weekly basis, I think he's one that could be considered. And with the set pieces as well as another route to points, he could be a nice differential.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that one bears fruits, and it'll be interesting to see what changes we make going into this game week, because looking at my bus team, I think I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I mean, Reinders is one that I might just sell, or I could easily bench because Rice has got the home game. So I think I'm not so sure if I want to make a transfer, to be honest, because Forest have been struggling scoring goals. I guess the question would be about Gvardiol. Do you think Gvardiol, minutes wise, Darius is going to be back in the team? But was it just a one-off that Ake came in for that Everton game?
Yeah, what do we know why he didn't play? Was he on the bench? I don't recall seeing him on the bench.
Yeah, he was. He didn't play for some reason. I don't know why. So I guess any City
Just seems odd.
It is odd, but I can't. He wasn't injured or anything, so I can't imagine that's going to happen again. But it's whether or not they set up with other options in there.
Maybe just thought it was a good time to bench him with the run coming up. That's all I can think of because Vardiol's, I think, City's best defender. So I wouldn't be expecting him to miss too many games.
Yeah, you think he'd play the majority of them? I mean, the Everton game, he was an unused substitute, so it makes you think maybe he's just giving him a rest. He has played a lot of minutes, so I think he should be fine. If not, then worst came to worst, I've always got Goodmanson, but and they are playing West Ham, who aren't exactly doing well at the moment. But I think the rest of the team I'm pretty happy with. Would there be any changes you'd make to this, Jack? Or I've got one free transfer going into this week. So not much that I need to do really.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I like the idea of rolling a transfer, so you've got as many as possible. But the only thing I'd say is having 2 triple ups. I mean, City and Arsenal are the 2 best teams in the league. Let's be real. But if one team has a slip up, that's 3 players that you're completely just sort of getting out there. I do think you're probably right with saying get Reinders out as soon as possible. I'd love if you could get someone like Bruno Fernandes, but people,
just sold him.
Playing DM. Maybe how much would you have if you sold Reinders?
Yeah, what's your money?
8 mil is my.
Oh,
is my
maybe think about someone like
Cunha. Good Man United options in that price range.
Yeah.
Even someone like who am I thinking of? I don't know. You've got 2 Tottenham players. Is that 2 Tottenham players? No, 1 Tottenham player. I think you're pretty balanced other than the triple ups, to be completely honest. But just someone who's on form. I mean, I like the Gardner option, and then you've got extra money. But other than that, I'm not sure.
And even if Roberto, if you wanted to, obviously you got rid of João Pedro last week, and you were talking about Chelsea's fixtures improving. Just to back my differential, but Neto could be a nice option. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like.
If you wanted to route into the Chelsea attack.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
So I think Neto and Mbeumo are probably the 2 contenders, and it will be just a battle to see who I go for come deadline. So yeah, I like the look of that.
What's Chelsea's fixtures? Because you could go for Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea's fixtures are quite good, but yeah, it's just whether or not you think.
It's just Maresca. That's the problem. Like you look at those easy fixtures. I remember last year they rested Nicholas Jackson, who was in that rich run of vein against Southampton or whatever. He was just benched the entire 90. So that's the only consideration.
I think Neto's pretty nailed, but yeah, I agreed.
Yeah, it's just the lack of other competition for Man United, which does make it appealing in Mbeumo's favour. But yeah, we'll definitely be tossing that one up. Have you got any transfer plans, Darius, ahead of this week?
Well, no, my team looks pretty good. Like as I said, it just comes down to I need to bench one out of Krejci, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Bowen. And obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin plays Bowen on the opening day, and technically it's a green fixture for both. So it's like I don't know. I'm in 2 minds which one I should be playing, which one I should be benching off. I should just bench Krejci and hope that West Ham and Leeds both score.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wolves haven't won yet, still. So,
but I don't see Burnley really. Like Wolves haven't been too bad defensively. It's just they don't score goals.
They've let in the 2nd most goals in the league.
Yeah, but they played a lot of.
No, to be fair, they did get back in one of the games, didn't they?
Yeah.
I honestly, I think that Wolves Burnley game could be like a drab, like 1-1 or something. Because I just think
hopefully.
Yeah,
Wolves are just sort of low on confidence, and I think Burnley are the same, really. But the games that Burnley have won this season have been against the other promoted sides, really, and outside of that, they've
It's been at
struggled.
home, but they're away in this game.
That's the thing. I think the away factor for this game might be a bit of a spanner in the works for Burnley there. So yeah, and Jack, what are you thinking of doing with your transfers, or are you not?
I'm thinking of rolling. I really like the idea of Igor Thiago. It's the fact that he's scored in 4 separate games. It's not like he's had one really good performance, but he's like spread his goals out, so he's looking a little bit consistent. Richarlison's not a great one for me, especially now that he's been dropped. So I'm thinking about Thiago, or maybe I'm thinking about getting rid of Isak, but I want to hold on to Isak at least until Man City, just for a couple more weeks, just in case, if he does have like a 10-point, 13-point haul, even that'd be good enough for me. So I'm thinking just roll for this week.
And Chris, are you thinking the same, or are you going to make a couple changes?
I wish I could. I think finally it's time to get rid of Salah. I think I've showed so much faith in him, and unfortunately he hasn't repaid that. And I think the weekend was the final straw. Really, it really was the final straw. So yeah, I think Semenyo will definitely be coming in. And then I'm also looking. The difficulty is I might have to take a hit, because I think Damsgaard is not really performing as I'd hoped. I thought he'd be more influential in the Brentford attack. He played well yesterday, and unfortunately he had the assist chalked off because of Thiago's offside goal, which was annoying for the bench boost. But it's a really tricky one with him, because as we spoke about with Liverpool, they've looked really vulnerable from set pieces, and he obviously takes the majority of those. So I feel like he could do something against Liverpool. So that's one I think that might go down to the deadline. I'll have to think about that one, because I don't really, the fixtures this week, there's not really one that really stands out to me, to be honest, that I think I want to get someone in as well. Semenyo, I think, is a definite, but yeah, I think I'll definitely make one transfer, possibly 2.
The question is, I suppose, I mean, I'm just looking at the transfer. If I did replace Reinders, who would you bench in that attacking lineup, Darius? Because Minter against Man United might be quite fruitful. I don't know.
I'd bench Gyökeres because I think he's been bang average.
I was going to ask, what are people's thoughts on Gyökeres?
I actually think that when you were showing your team before, I think I wouldn't actually transfer Reinders. I'd transfer Gyökeres to another forward and move Reinders the following week to like a really good option. Like you could get like, Saka in the week after.
Yeah, Saka.
Yeah.
But you've got money wasted on Gyökeres, who's doing. He's literally like what Haaland is to City, but he doesn't score when he gets the ball, and Haaland does.
Yeah.
I just think, he needs to be more involved. I think he'll get there, but I just don't know when, to be honest. They've got good fixtures, though, Arsenal. I mean, after Palace, they've got some good fixtures. Tottenham's a decent game for them. It'll be a good game. They'll score. And then Sunderland, Burnley are pretty good before that. So I don't know if you should get rid now. I just think Reinders is more of an issue, to be honest.
Yeah, that feels like the one I want to deal with. So I'll probably go there. Okay, that's great. Thanks for those transfer plans, guys. We're now going to wrap it up by looking at the mini league, and then we're going to dive into Jack's quiz and see what he's got for us this week. So the Pubcast league, not much more needs to be said. I'm absolutely dominating that. When it comes to the T-Fit league, though, it's looking quite interesting after 8 game weeks of the season. I got basically destroyed by Caden with 94 from his game week 8 team. So yeah, he's doing very well. Very good score. I mean, it's quite tight at the top. We've got Craig Van Ortman and Leah both on 21. So 7 wins out of 8. Very impressive starts there. Chris, you unsurprisingly are doing the best out of the 3 of us so far. Pretty consistent with 6 wins out of 8 so far this season. And Kanji is also similarly doing well, 5 wins so far. And then we scroll all the way down.
98.
that's where we start to think, okay, where's me and Jack looking? I'm down with 4 wins and 4 defeats, so not great, 50th place. And then I'm just thinking about where Jack is, and I start running out of room in this league because in 98th place at the moment, 2 wins from 8. So yeah, not the best, unfortunately, for Jack at the moment. But I'm sure that there's plenty of time for that to turn around. I mean, what's that sort of down to? Do you think, Jack? Do you think it's just
I'm
the
just
scores
in the game, to be honest.
Is it just competitors you've been up against, or?
Yeah, I've not come up against you yet, so it's not a guaranteed win. I actually don't have any of the podcast guys until like quite far in the future, so I'm not that bothered. I just want to play you boys. So, oh god, it's bad. It's really bad.
I mean,
I think I've just had a really slow start. I mean, the last few weeks have been good individual weeks, but I've not had like consistent scoring. 97 last week was good, and then 66 was good this week. But before that, there was 40. I was in the 40s and 30s. So
yeah, it was horrible. I was the same.
It could be a lot worse though, Jack. You could be 112. So
I couldn't. No, let's get it right. I couldn't be a lot worse. I could be a bit worse.
Yeah, but yeah, looking on the bright side of life, there's always the next game week to come up to change the record. I mean, Jack,
record for what? Worst in the league.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is up against Ricardo, who's a big Ricky, big supporter of the pod. So that'll be an interesting battle from all the way over in Cape Verde. But you're up against Peter Oliyemi, Jack, who's so far this season looking good. Currently in the T-Fit League, doing pretty okay, to be fair. I mean, he's not actually showing up on here for some reason.
Brilliant.
In terms of his, oh no, hang on. Oh yeah, he's 4th. He's 4th in the league. So
don't you worry, mate. Don't you worry. I will be 4th in the league. It's going to be a big week.
Yeah, he's got credentials definitely, but we're all here for the underdog win. So I believe in you, Jack. I mean, I'm up against Maine FC. He's a Michael Maine, so that looks like a potential winnable game. I mean, he's so far this season he's in 81st, so he's below me. So we take that as a potential win. Hopefully, at least. Okay, we are going to dive in now to Jack's quiz. Jack, do you want to talk us through what we're doing this week?
Yeah, of course, boys. So the way this is going to... Oh, actually, I've just found I'm playing Kanji on match week 27. That's the first time I play someone from our podcast.
Wow.
Okay, so the quiz... we've got 3 regular questions, and then we've got a guess the player, and we're going to end off with a hot potato. So, are you aware of how hot potato works, Darius?
Hot potato. You just pass it on.
Yeah, keep going around until someone gets a player wrong in the list that I'll give you. Until you take way too long to like. If you take like a minute to think of an answer, you're gone. So it'll be who's out. If that gets like. Yeah, 11 points. So first 3 questions are all worth 1 point. The guess the player is going to be worth 2 points, and then the hot potato is going to be worth 3 points. So you can bring it back if you're at the bottom, unless you've not got a point yet. So we'll go with 3 regular questions, starting off with a very easy one as usual, and we'll do buzzer noises. So what would your buzzer noises be, boys?
Chris, what are you feeling?
Oh, I'll go King Cole, despite him not
always
in
King
many
Cole,
champion performances.
Darius, what about you? Buzzer noise, buzzer word?
Rude.
And Roberto?
I'm going to go for birthday because...
You know what? I really appreciate
22 tomorrow, so I
really appreciate that from you because your buzzer noises, Roberto, are usually very long. There was one when you were like, there was 1 week where you were like, Mbeumo is the king of Cameroon or something like that when he scored last season. It's like the longest buzzer noise I'd ever. Okay, so let's go into question 1. Get your buzzer noises at the ready.
Have we verified these answers are all correct, by the way, Jack? Because I know in the last couple of quizzes, we've had a
I
couple of
triple checked
hiccups.
last time my list was wrong, but I've triple checked today. That's why it took so long to do it.
We had a fit and
Well,
proper
we'll draw
check.
out,
I wouldn't expect anything less. I know you're a man of.
Last time it
you
was
get the
just
small
ChatGPT
details
get
right.
it wrong, but these are all curated questions by me this time. So there we go. Who holds the record for the most Premier League appearances?
Rude. Right.
That's
It's no, it's Ryan Giggs. It's got to be Ryan Giggs, surely.
Okay, that is incorrect. So Roberto,
That's Gareth Barry.
that is Gareth Barry.
What?
Come
Ryan
on.
Giggs holds the record for assists, but he doesn't hold the record for appearances. Gareth Barry was very old, very very old when he stopped playing. So
How old was he when he retired? He must have been like 40,
Oh.
eh?
go on, let me give it a little Google. Gareth Barry retirement age.
I can't
He
believe
was
that. I thought Giggs was had it by-
43.
What? Far
There's
out.
no way.
Oh
There's
no,
no
he's still playing. That's why it says 43. He retired at 39 at West Brom, and now he's back. He came out of retirement last year for someone in the mid Sussex League, so it's in the lower leagues. He's back playing at 43.
Wow.
That could be a quiz question in a few weeks.
Yeah,
What team
that's
does he
yeah.
play for?
I did not know
He
that.
should have been my guess who, and I should have said he came back to. No one would have got that. He plays in the mid Sussex fourth division. Okay, so question 2. That's 1-0 to Roberto. At the start of this season, Haaland obviously is leading goals, right? How many goals does he have?
Rude.
Okay,
For this season,
yeah.
he's got, as of this weekend, he's got, I'm going to say it's 9.
Oh,
That's incorrect. That'll roll on to the other 2, whoever buzzes first.
At birthday,
At birthday, says Roberto. Go on.
I'm going to say 11.
That is correct. 11 points is correct. I think he
Come
was on
on.
9 before this weekend.
Oh,
Did he get 2? He got 2, right? Yeah.
yeah, he did.
Oh, that's a
I
shame.
thought it was 7 and then he got 9.
I love the confidence, though. Rude's was what I've heard first every time.
the fact that you stalled as well. You were like, what?
Yeah,
Who-
I was thinking that's a tactic. That's got to be a tactic. What's the question
Hey,
again?
but if he keeps getting it
Remind me?
wrong, I think it's fine for you boys. Third normal question of the quiz is going to be another easy one. In FPL history, who's the all-time leading point scorer?
Rude.
King Kong.
Mo Salah.
Incorrect. Mo Salah needs 183 points this season to beat this player's record.
Oh, it's Wayne Rooney, I think.
I'm going to leave someone else, but you were frozen out. It could be Rooney. It was that bias.
King Kong?
Okay. Your answer's not King Cole, right?
No, is it Rooney? I just guessed. But...
It is Wayne Rooney, yeah.
You
you gave it your only second guess.
Oh, thank you. You gave me a tap in there, Darius.
If you'd thought about that one, Darius, you would have got it. If you'd thought.
I know. I just thought about it afterwards. I said it. I was like, hold on. Salah's only played 6 seasons. What am I doing?
I mean, Salah could easily, if he cracks on a bit, he could get it this season. If he gets, I think 180 is a bit out of the water now for him. He's had a few bad weeks, but he'll probably be here next week.
Playing like a 5-a-side player in our league, Jack. Then I don't think he's going to have any chance of getting up to those.
Yeah. Well, I was the best 5-a-side player in the league. Everyone knows that. So.
Correct. I wasn't talking about you. You were a bit of a
Sick. Oh no, I was halfway line goal merchant. Anyway, right. So the second one's going to be guess the player. We're going to have 4 different clues. And the first one's going to be, a little bit harder. It's going to be quite vague, and then we'll get into some easy clues along the way. The first is worth 4 points, then 3 points, then 2 points, then 1 point. So this first one is for 4 points, and it's definitely gettable, but it's definitely a punt. In the past, a lot of players have named their FPL teams after me. I'll give you all a guess on this one. So it's quite a common FPL team name that uses this player's name. So I'll give you all a guess on this one.
Okay. Birthday. Delit.
Okay. And then you two just throw a player out there. I know it's a very vague question, but you might get it.
Chris Wood.
Okay.
Mbumo? I don't know.
So
Hinder and Boomo. That's what I'm thinking.
okay, are you all locking those in?
Yeah.
The answer is in Boomo. So Chris, that's a point.
Oh,
What?
That was one of those where I wanted to give 4 points to someone who plucked one out of the hat because there's millions of team names, right? You could have picked any player in the league there. Oh, I'm actually really annoyed at that because the questions are going to be: I used to represent France and now I'm for Cameroon. I recently scored, and then it was going to be I made a transfer worth £71 million this summer. But Boomo is the answer there for the guess the player. So Chris gets 4 points. So you're now on 5. So unfortunately, Darius, you are now out because you got. Did you get a point? Or did Chris stole your Wayne Rooney point, right? So Roberto, if you can get this hot potato win, you will get 3 points and you will be tied with Chris. But Chris has got the top spot locked in already with that guess.
Wow.
You know what, Darius? If you win, I'll give you 5 points. You should have guessed.
It was like the biggest Hail Mary of all time.
The hot potato this week, the order is going to be how it looks on my screen. So we'll do Roberto first, then Chris, then Darius to go round in order, hot potato. So it's sort of a carousel kind of thing. And the question is players who have scored 25 plus goals in a single Premier League season. And I will chalk off the answer once you've said a certain answer. We'll start off with Roberto. Take your time and just say a player that has more than 25. 25 is included, the number 25. Or more goals in a Premier League season.
Harry Kane.
Obviously, that is correct.
Chris.
Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
Mo Salah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for... Ooh.
Remember, you can't get it wrong because you'll be out. Yeah. Frozen out.
Let's go for... This is tough.
Come on, but there's loads of Roberto.
Thierry Henry.
25. Thierry Henry is correct. Yeah, he had 31. Yeah, so I was originally going to do this with 30 goals, but there's definitely not as many. This goes back quite a bit.
Okay, Shearer.
Alan Shearer is, of course, in there.
I thought he was going to say out then. Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Is Wayne Rooney in here? Wait.
Should be in there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I was going to say if he's not in there, I don't know.
Darius was sweating then.
Yeah, he had 26 and 27 in 2 different years.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a few.
He's only just in there though.
I will go for Chris Sutton.
Chris Sutton is in there. He had 25 goals for Norwich in 1993-94, which is absolutely mental that you've got that. But you are the type of guy that knows that, Roberto. I respect it.
Are we talking about just Premier League goals?
Yeah, just Premier League. Otherwise, there'd be just 25 in the league.
Okay.
There is quite a few more that we're forgetting. There's some names.
I don't feel confident saying this, but Van Persie.
Robert Van Persie got 30 goals in 1 year.
Okay.
That was for Arsenal, actually.
Was it? I thought it would be for that season he had at United.
I think 30 was for Arsenal, right?
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
Probably why they bought him.
Yeah, it was. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo had 31.
I don't think we said this yet. Erling Haaland.
Oh, we've already said that.
Haaland's been said, Roberto. So that unfortunately means you've been frozen out. So it's now a head-to-head. You know what? This is such a good quiz. I'm going to bend the rules as I always do. So this is for the whole marbles.
What?
No, I was gonna give 5 points. So Darius, you can draw with Chris if you can win this. So keep going, Chris. It's your turn.
Winner takes all.
Okay.
Chris, do you want to do winner takes all, or are you happy to give it a draw? Do you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything on the line.
Darius, lock in, bro.
Yeah,
come on.
Got to make it interesting.
Lock in.
Drogba. Didier Drogba.
Drogba got 29 goals for Chelsea in 1 season. That was in 2009-10.
Wow.
We've got one from 95, another one from 93. We've got 2014-15.
I'm going to go with, what's his name? Michael Owen.
Michael Owen.
He's got to be up there.
Surely,
He had that season where he
surely.
scored a lot of goals.
Michael Owen's highest season tally is 19 goals.
What is that all? Far out. He's shit.
He got the golden boot with wasn't it the lowest golden boot in a single season ever?
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it must have been well over 25.
However, I will check his goals tally because I don't want to make it,
I was originally going to say Ruud van Nistelrooy because I know that he
his
did.
highest goals and assists was 28, but that's with assists and that's not just goals. His highest goals
Was Ruud
tally
van
was
Nistelrooy on
19.
that list?
Sorry?
Was Ruud van Nistelrooy on that list? Because I was going to say that, and I thought
was in the list. Yeah, he had 25.
because you started saying the years, and he wasn't on that years, and I was like, hold on, he wasn't at the club at that year, and I was like, threw me off.
Was Carlos Tevez on the list?
Carlos Tevez was not on my list.
Was Kevin Phillips?
Yeah,
that would be mine.
Oh, of course, Super Kev.
Tevez's most goals in one season was less than 25.
Yeah.
How about Fernando Torres?
Torres had 24 was his best season.
Oh, okay.
So some players we missed. Andy Cole had 34 goals. You missed Luis Suarez with 31 goals.
Oh, yeah, he had that season.
You said Kevin Phillips was there. Robbie Fowler had 28. Sergio Aguero had 26.
How do we forget him?
Ferdinand had 25. And Matt Letizia had 25.
Wow, Letizia had 25 in a season. They did well considering who he played for.
Mental, isn't it?
That's crazy.
So that was my quiz, guys. The hot potato. And there was a lot we missed there, but it still went on for a little while. But I hope you guys enjoyed. So that's Master out, baby.
Congrats to Chris. Well done.
Well done, buddy.
Chris, you know what? We're going to give 5 points. That puts Chris on 10 points. Highest quiz score ever.
Get him.
Well, I rode my luck there. I mean, the biggest Hail Mary of all time with that Mbumo shout.
Yeah.
But
my God. I think, if we'd gone to the next one, maybe Darius would have got it because it was kind of Man United orientated. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest, my head was gone after that Mbumo question. So
Chris's lucky guess. That's what we call this episode.
Yeah, great stuff. No, that's a really great way to end off the episode. It's been a really good fun one. Thanks again, Darius, for coming on. Hope you enjoyed.
My pleasure. It's been great fun.
Yeah, ignore my blanket. I'm just comfortable.
It's all good. It's all good. And thanks again, Jack, for coming on and bringing your brilliant quiz with you.
Boys, I'm sorry I've not been here, but I have a job.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. busy lives. And Chris, as always, thanks for your great job co-hosting.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it today. Yeah, good to be back. And yeah, just good luck everyone for Game Week 9 when it comes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good luck everyone in Game Week 9. And make sure you lock in those transfers. Don't forget the deadline is Friday kickoff as well. So, stay tuned to that. But yeah, until the next time, it'd be good to hear you, see you again next time. But yeah, thanks for listening on The Form is Temporary, and see you next time, everyone.
See you later, boys.